Hey guys, in the last video we have talked about how to migrate an MariaDB from an EC2 instance to the RDS with MySQL engine. Now in this video, what we are going to talk about is with respect to RDS only. So the first thing is we're going to talk about RDS MultiAZ. What do you mean by multi-availability zone? And then we're going to talk about RDS snapshots. Okay, so how to back it up and then how to restore it. And then so these are all the two key components which we're gonna do a demo on this. So I'll just explain you about the setup, then we will quickly jump into the demo. So what we have done right now is there is one EC2 instance. So in this EC2 instance, we already have our Apache running, okay, and there is an RDS here. So inside the RDS, there is a MySQL engine which is running on availability zone 1. So this is a MySQL engine running here. So there is obviously a connection here. So whoever is trying to hit the HTTPD using the public IP, so they will get the web page. They will get the hello world web page. Whatever you want to change it. So this is what happens. So this is the current setup right now. But what I am going to do here is, as I've already said, I'm going to explain you about the multi-AZ things. So I'm gonna draw this RDS a little bit big here, and I'm gonna make it like availability zone 2, and I'm gonna put one more MySQL instance here. So this will get expanded to another availability zone. So this we call it as a multi-AZ concept. Okay, so when I'm explaining about the multi-AZ concept, what happens is this one, the first one would be your primary, and the second one would be your standby, or you can call it as a secondary. Okay, so this is the multi-AZ things, and we will do the failover as well. What happens? Failover means if the primary is getting failed over, so automatically the traffic will, whoever is, the traffic will come and then it will go to the secondary directly. Yeah, so this is one thing we are going to do. And also the next thing what we are going to do here is we're going to talk about the snapshots also. So snapshots is, for example, so this is an RDS. Yeah, so this is an RDS here. Inside this there is a MySQL engine running. So in this, at one point of time, you're taking a snapshot of an entire thing. Snapshot is nothing but you're backing up, and it will go and log into the S3, but you will not be able to see anything inside S3. What kind of snapshots? It's invisible for us. It's not visible for customers. So RDS will store the snapshot to S3. Okay, now for example, your RDS is running for some time and then it's getting crashed. And what you can do is you can always restore whatever is there you have saved in the snapshot. You can always restore it back, and then you can make it live. So this is a simple examples which we are going to do right now. So let's jump into the demo. Okay guys, so there is one instance running as per our setup. So this is our web server. So let me try to log into this instance and clicking on connect. Okay, cool. So I've logged in. Now if you see systemctl status and your web server status, yes, it is running. And if you do the public IP, so this is a public IP I got. Okay, so you can type http:// you hit enter, so you'll get the WordPress the login page to install your set up your WordPress things. So it means your website is working fine. Yeah, so you got only one instance which is running on the web server, and here obviously we do not have any MariaDB running here, because you know we are using our RDS instance. If you see, this is inactive. And where will you check the file? www.html. So ls, so you will see a file called wp-config. So wp-config.php. So if you see this, our db host name is what? Db host name is this one. So if you see the DB host name, which is a C name or the endpoint of the RDS, RDE4 and something. Let's go back. Let me go back to RDS. So here we go. So if you go to RDS, there is something called DDB instances. So in your screen, you should be having only one instance. The previous instance, which was running for some other exercise, so you can execute, I mean, you can don't take that one. But if you see, this is the one which is created right now as per the CloudFormation stack. So I'm clicking on this. So this is the endpoint I'm talking about. RDE, if you scroll down, see this, RDE4NSZ9GFEN09 dot blah 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 dot AmazonAWS.com. So the same thing is already, I put it up in the WP config file, the same one here. So that's why our database is already connected with the RDS. Okay, good. Now what is next? What is next before I jumped in? So this is the RDS thing which is already created for us. And here if you see, what is the class name is db.2.micro, and which availability zone right now. So my primary, I mean, I have only one RDS instance of MySQL, so which is currently in US East 1A. Okay, now if I scroll down, you can verify, not here. If you click on configuration, so you can see like MultiAZ is no, which means that it's not yet selected. And also secondary zone is hyphen, which means that we did not enable the MultiAZ. That's why the secondary zone, it shows hyphen. Okay, now what we're gonna do here is click on databases. So this is the available one for us. I'm gonna delete the old one. So let me delete it. Let me delete this one. Delete me. I don't want that old snapshot of an old DB instances. Okay, cool. So that will start deleting in a couple of minutes, and then it'll get over. So you can see it's deleting. Okay, so our main only one database which is currently active is this one. So what we're gonna do here is, I've already mentioned in all these steps in the notepad. I can paste all these things in the description. Okay, so I'm gonna connect to the EC2 instance, and I'm gonna configure the WordPress, and I'm gonna delete the hello world post and upload some images. Okay, and so that is what I'm going to do. So let me complete the first step. For that, I'm going here. So this is what I've taken already, the public IP of the public EC2 instance, which I'm already running here. So this is my public IP. I copied it. Let me do it again. http://enter public IP. So you'll get the same page, and I'm going to give this website like my production good website, and then the username is admin, and then the password I will copy it from the CloudFormation parameters. Open link in new tab. So this is the parameters which is running. Clicking on parameters, db password, control C, control V. Yeah, then scroll down your emails. You can give any email address, and then clicking on install WordPress. Okay, perfect. Now I'm just hitting on login. So just typing in admin, and then the password, remember me. Okay, no, click on login. Okay, cool. Now click on post on the left side. So click on the hello world, click on this drop down, click on move to trash, hit on apply, so it will get deleted. And now I'm going to add two images of that bike pictures as per our previous video. So I'm going to do the same thing. Click on add new. Okay, so close this button. I'm just gonna give this my production code website, and then I'm clicking on the plus symbol, gallery, upload, and let me upload those two pictures of my bike. Okay, this one and this one. Clicking on OK. So this is a good one, good pictures. And then I'm clicking on publish on the top right. Click on publish again. Now it is published. So just want to make sure that I'm gonna open a new incognito window. Enter. So clicking on my production good website. Okay, so this website is up and running. So I got the pictures. So what I'm going to do next is, what we have done here is, so let me just give me a minute. Okay, so what we have done so far is, just to give you a quick background on what we have done. Let me tell you again. So here we go. So this is the EC2 instance. Okay, and in this EC2 instance we have WordPress application, and this is our HTTPD. So this is your application and this is your web server, web. So if somebody is trying to hit your application and web server, what happens is, in turn it will connect to your RDS, and inside RDS your MySQL engine is running. Okay, now what happened here is, we have here we have updated two images. If you remember, we have updated two images. I'm talking about these images, these two images. I'm talking about these two images here. So this is done, two images done, and now these two images data entry is already there in MySQL. Okay, now what I'm going to do here is, I'm going to take a snapshot of this particular state. So snapshot is nothing but it's like a backup. I'm gonna take a snapshot and I'm gonna save it. I mean, not we, RDS will save it in S3. So when you save it in S3, when RDS save the snapshots in S3, it is not visible to us, it is not visible to customer. You cannot see that snapshot details. I mean, you can see the snapshot detail from the GUI, but you cannot go to S3 and you cannot see that. You will not be, it is invisible for customer. That's what Amazon says. So we are going to save this as a snapshot, and that is our next task. So let's do that right now. So in order to do that, I've already mentioned all these things in the clear cut notepad. I can share it in the description where you guys can follow. So here we go. Where am I? Yeah, so let me go to RDS. So refreshing my screen. Okay, this is RDS. Click on it and then click on actions, and there is something called take snapshot here. Click on take snapshot. So when you hit on take snapshot, it's asking for the name. I have some names I have to give, so that is how I have created the CloudFormation stack. So I'm just clicking on it, copying that, and then I'm pasting it. So what exactly this does is, this is a DB name with some post, and then with MySQL, and with this a 5.7 version. Click on take snapshot. So this will take a couple of minutes to come up. If you scroll right, so it will tell you still on creating mode. Okay, so after a couple of minutes it will it will give a message like it is available. Okay, if you see, after exactly it took me 3 to 4 minutes to become available. And now this snapshot is, I mean, snapshot got created, and this snapshot is manually we created it, and it just shows you when was a snapshot got created, what time, and what is the progress completed, and what is the engine we are using, MySQL, and on which VPC, and what is the storage, and which zone, and what is the port number, and whether it is encrypted or not encrypted. So all these details are there in the snapshot. So now what is our next step is, yes, so right now we have this snapshot is having two pictures of my bike, not my bike, two pictures of the bike kind of things. So which is good right now. So now our next thing is, let me go back to RDS. So in this RDS, let me go back to DB instances on the left side. Okay, cool. So as I've already said, so the first thing is we've taken the snapshot, that is a separate part. Now the next thing is we're going to enable the multi-AZ mode, multi-availability zone. Okay, so which I've already explained in the beginning of the video, what is multi-AZ. If I click on this database, and then if you scroll right, so here on the extreme right hand side, you would see like multi-AZ, no, which means that this database identifier database instance is not multi-AZ. It's available only in one availability zone. But if you see yes, it means that it is available more than one availability zone. So that is what we are going to do right now. Okay, so this is one where you can try, and this is one where you can see the steps. And the next one is, as I've already said, click on this database identifier, scroll down, there is something called configuration, click on it. Then here you can see the same thing here, multi-AZ, it says no, and there is nothing on secondary zone as well. Secondary zone is nothing but the second zone. Okay, so since we did not enable multi-AZ, so that's why the secondary zone is also showing nothing, empty. Yeah, cool. Now what we are going to do here is I'm going to enable the multi-AZ. In order to enable the multi-AZ, click on databases, choose this, and then click on modify. When you click on modify, okay, so after you clicked on modify, so just keep the engine version as same 5.7.31, and then scroll down, and then DB instance identifier, same thing. Don't give any kind of password or anything, just keep rest of the things as default. But when it comes to availability and durability, you're gonna click on create a standby instance. Okay, so this is what we're going to see. If you see the definition also creates a standby in a different availability zone to provide data redundancy, eliminate IO freezes, and minimize latency spikes during system backups. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. So don't do anything else, don't select on anything else, so you can click on continue. But before that, what my suggest is, let me cancel it. I want to make sure that, okay, this is my primary thing which is in US East 1A. Okay, so let me open a notepad. I want to make sure that we're doing it correct. Let me open a notepad. Yeah, this is the notepad, and okay, perfect. So this is the DB identifier I have, and in this my primary, so my primary AZ is in US East 1A. Okay, got it. Now what we are going to do here is we're going to create a new, right now multi-AZ says no. Okay, now if you click on this and then click on modify, so you will get the same page again. So you need to you don't need to select anything except multi-AZ options. Okay, if you scroll down to the bottom, yeah, see here it says multi-AZ deployment. Click on create a standby instance, and then scroll down and then click on continue. So it will ask you whether, when do you want to apply these changes, whether you want to apply these changes immediately or whether you want to make these changes during some scheduled deployment. So if you see during the maintenance, so the next maintenance window, it shows Feb 11 blah 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 for some time, or you want to do it immediately. Okay, we're going to do it immediately just for this demo, so just click on apply immediately. And if you see the top, it says multi-AZ deployment, current value is no, but now we're going to change it to yes, that is a new value. Okay, so click on modify DB instance. So it will take a couple of minutes to come up, maybe 3 to 5 minutes. So it will change from available to, then it will change to modify. So let's wait for another couple of minutes to come up. If you see, it started modifying after a couple of after 1 minute. So we have to wait at least 3 to 5 minutes to get it modifying to available again. So let's wait. Okay, so I waited for 5 minutes in fact, and so my status became available here. But if you see, even though if it says available on the extreme right hand side from the multi-AZ here, 5 minutes or a couple of minutes back it was saying no, but now it's saying yes. But from the UI perspective, the region right here, the region, it just still shows US East 1A, because I think I've already made a note of in the notepad what was my primary availability zone. Here I mentioned my primary AZ is in US East 1A. So you need to give a couple of more minutes in order to change here. Okay, maybe 10 minutes or 15 minutes, that's what I have seen. And if you click on this DB instance identified, if you click on configuration, so again here it will say multi-AZ, but secondary zone will be hyphen. So it's still the UI perspective. I think it's taking some time to reflect it. That's what I have noticed. So give it some 10 to 15 minutes, we'll come back, we will see what, what is this and whether the status is really changed or not. Okay, cool. Now what we are going to do here is, let me explain you again in the diagram. What we have done so far is the multi-AZ, let me explain you further. Okay, so here is my EC2 machine, yeah, and then here there is an RDS. So inside the RDS, what we have done is I put 1 2, this is AZ1 and this is AZ2. Okay, so for example, okay, so here there is a MySQL running, and here right now the MySQL started running. So this is my primary and this is my standby. So this is what we have done, and now this will connect through something called endpoint, which you guys already know, CNAME endpoint. So it will come and it will hit here. Okay, so this is the setup we have done. So what we are gonna do here is we're gonna do a failover on this. So how to do the failover? Failover is nothing but we are just trying to make primary to go down, and then we will route the traffic from from here to directly to standby. So we will see how to achieve. So in order to do that, what you have to do is click on actions. Okay, and then okay, before I do that, I want to make sure that whether the UI changes. Obviously this will be in US East 1A, forget about that because currently the primary is serving, and this is already changed, yes. And then clicking on this DB identifier, just scroll down, I'm sorry, click on configuration, just scroll down. So this is not yet done, so let me wait for it. Okay, let me wait for it to come back. Okay, so I waited exactly eight minutes. Now if you see, my secondary zone became US East 1C. Okay, so it was hyphen, now it changed to US East 1C, so we are good. So just to give a background again, in the whiteboard, if you see, this is my US East 1A, US East 1A, and this is my, so this is my US East 1C. Okay, cool. Now what we're going to do is we're going to switch the traffic from US East 1A to US East 1C. We're gonna make our primary to failover. So primary is US East 1A. If you click on this, then if you go to configuration, so my secondary zone is US East 1C. Okay, cool. So how to do a failover? Click on it, and there is something called actions, then there is something called reboot. Click on reboot, then click on reboot with failover. So the primary DB will get rebooted, and then it will get failover to the secondary one, which is in US East 1C. So click on confirm. So what happens is during this time it will say rebooting, but during this time if I refresh my screen, it will go down for some time for sure. So sorry, so if you click on this, so it won't be available for maybe for 30 seconds or 15 to 30 seconds. There would be a down. If you keep refreshing it, you can see, like, it will give a message 502 bad gateway. Okay, see, now it's getting activated. Now it's getting spinning. It's spinning, and there would be a delay from 60 seconds to 120 seconds. There is, where during the failover of RDS from primary to standby, there would be a delay. So whenever when you're designing an application on this RDS, just keep that in mind. Okay, so there is a concept called Rto and Rpo, so recovery time objective and recovery point objective. Just Google through that to understand more better on that. So after a couple of seconds, this will tell you some sort of server error, maybe some bad gateway or 502 error. Okay, so that part is done. So let's wait for that to fail, and then it will automatically connect to the standby instance. So all these things are done. Now the last step, I will just explain you about how to restore the RDS. If you remember, we talked about the we took this, yeah. So before that, just see our gateway timed out. The gateway did not receive any timely response from the upstream server or an application. So which means it is performing the failover. If I go back to RDS, if I refresh it, it is still rebooting. Now it became available. So now if you refresh the screen, it will come up the page. See, now the page is coming up. So it's working, which means it's became available. But the thing is, in the UI, if you see, it is still showing my primary as 1A, but this should change it to 1C right now. Okay, because my 1C is connecting directly. So, and also if you click on this, if you go to configuration here, it should change 1A. Okay, so as I said, from the UI perspective, it will take 10 minutes maximum to display the exact availability zone. So I will just wait for a couple of more minutes just to show you these things. So let it run. In the meantime, I'll come back to the screen. In the meantime, what I'm going to do here is, if you click on RDS, and then if you click on snapshots here, then if you click on yeah, this is a snapshot which we created 15 minutes back. Okay, so and this has correct image, 2 images. Okay, and also right now, yes, right now my website is good. So unfortunately, what we are going to do here is, I'm gonna go to the dashboard, and then I'm thinking of uploading some wrong images. Okay, I'm clicking on pose, or maybe clicking on edit. Not the wrong images, maybe I'll just edit some text just to make it very simple. So say for example, this is my production good website. I'm just making like my production wrong website. Okay, now I'm just hitting on update. Now everything got updated. So if you want to change, see it, control C the IP, go to new incognito window, paste it, enter. So now all the customers of your website, they are just checking this wrong website name. Okay, so this is wrong. So you have made a big mistake. So how to recover from this mistake is using the snapshot, because our snapshot is having a good website. Okay, so what I will do here is, okay, I will just straight away go to the snapshots, and then I'll select the snapshot, I'll click on actions, then I'll click on restore snapshot. So when you click on restore snapshot, what happens is, here if you click on RDS, if you click on DB instances, we have only one DB instance which is running. Whenever you're creating a restore snapshot, it will create a new DB instance. Okay, see, for one DB instance there is one endpoint. So each DB instance will have one endpoint, and that is unique. And this endpoint is connected to, right now if you see, this endpoint is connected to where? This endpoint is connected to, we have mapped in the wp-config.php. If you connect to this machine, if you click on connect, so here if you see cd var www.html, so here we have list of the WordPress files. So you have to look for less wp-config.php, enter. So here I'm just talking about this one. So in my wp-config.php, I have mapped the DB instance, this one, RDS, this one. Okay, now just remember that, just keep the screen in your mind, and when we are trying to restore a snapshot, it will create a new DB instance again. Okay, so that is the concept of restoring the snapshot. So let's go ahead and restore the snapshot. I'm clicking on RDS, click on snapshots here, and inside this manual you have only one, which is ours. Click on snapshot. So this is the one which we have done. Click on this and then click on actions. Then you have something called restore snapshot. So before you hit on restore snapshot, we have a lot of other options. For example, if you want to migrate this snapshot to some other DB engine, for example, Aurora or MariaDB, so you have that option. So if you want to copy the snapshot, you can copy the snapshot. And if you want to share the snapshot with different accounts, you can do that. So for example, this is migrating. You can migrate to any one of these things. And If you click on copy snapshot, you can, if you click on share snapshot, you can share it to a different ID. You can make it private or public. Even if you have a public option here, if you click on public, whichever user or whichever account has shared the snapshot public, you will see all those things. All their snapshots will be here. Okay, so for now what we're going to do is we're going to restore, because our website is crashed right now, which is having a wrong details. Okay, so you're going to restore it using the snapshot. So I'm clicking on actions, click on restore snapshot. So once you hit on restore snapshot, so DB engine will be the same MySQL community, and DB instance identifier, you have to mention the couple of things which I've already mentioned here in the notepad. So I'm going to mention the same thing, a for WordPress-restore for easy identification. Just tab, and then so here I don't want to create again multi-AZ for this. Just mention do not create a standby instance. And then connectivity, yes, this is very important. Make sure that you're choosing the right VPC. Okay, so my cloud formation is created under resources. Let me search for VPC. Which one is it created? Okay, it says VPC 0BC611. Okay, 0BC611, 0BC, yeah. Okay, this is the right VPC. Scroll down, and already got the subnet group, and public access should be no. And in the VPC security group, you have to create not create a new security group. There is an existing VPC security group, which is nothing but RDS MultiAZ. Okay, this one, RDS security group. Click on it, and then additional configuration, no need 3306, that's fine. And then scroll down, and here you just choose bustable classes. Click on include previous. Make sure that you are in db.2.micro. Don't choose the storage or anything. And then additional configuration, we don't need anything else. So as per the notepad, we have done all those things. Okay, now once it is completed, click on restore db instance, and this will take solid of so here if you see, it is created a new db instance. We had only one, it created a new one. Okay, now it is in creating phase, and this one will have a separate endpoint, cname endpoint, which will get created in next couple of minutes, and we need to copy that endpoint and we need to paste it here. Only then it will work. Yeah, I hope you're getting the points, guys. So let's wait for a couple of more minutes to come up. Okay, so the thing is, so now this became available. If you see, it wasn't modifying, so I waited for 8 to 10 minutes, and yeah, so this DB instance is available. Okay, now if you see, each and every DB instance will have a unique endpoint or unique CNAME, I can say. For this one, for example, for this one, I have what? I have this one. This is the endpoint I have. For our old one, which is this one, for this one I have this endpoint. Okay, now if you remember, this endpoint is having currently wrong productions site. Okay, and this one restored snapshot, which is having good site. So what we are going to do is, we already have something called wp-config.php, and currently it's pointing to this one. Correct, currently it's pointing to this one. So what we are going to do is, we are going to switch the db going to point to this one, so we will get our site back. So this is what I'm going to do. Okay, before that, what I want to do it here is click on databases, and then click on the previous DB here. Now if you remember, I was telling you, Samir, when we did the multi-AZ and then failover, and it was not changing. Okay, as per our previous notepad, my primary AZ was in US East 1A. Okay, which I said that, so this is the one, but I waited for more than 10 to 15 minutes, then it became 1C. Okay, so now that became 1C, which is connecting to standby mode. If you remember, just watch that, just go back to that particular video location and just have a check on it. Okay, cool. Now what we're going to do, we have restored the snapshot and our DB instance is ready. Now let me connect back to my instance here. Okay, I think it got hung up. Let me connect to the instance one more time. But before I connect, before I change it, I want to make sure that whether I'm doing it right. So Control C, I'm going back to the incognito window, enter. Just want to make sure that, see, my production wrong website is here. Okay, so this is in a different site, and I'm coming back here, going to the instance here, and then Control L. And what am I going to change? cdvar html ls, and then I'm gonna sudo vi wp hyphen config.php. If you guys are good with nano editor, please go for it. I'm really good with vi, so I'm gonna go for this one, and I'm gonna change the db host name. Okay, so I'm gonna change this to my new db host name endpoint. So which is what? Which is as per the notepad, for example, this is the one. Okay, so I'm just copying this, Control C, and then paste it here, Control V. Okay, sorry. So let me make sure that I copied it correctly. Yeah, done. Then Control V. Yes, it is done. So if I maximize the screen, yes, it is good. So now what I'll do here is, yeah, cool. Now escape shift ZZ, which will save it. So we are good. Now wp-config.php is pointing to my new restored snapshot database. Okay, now if you refresh this page on the right side here, okay, in my website here, if I refresh it, it should give me, it should change this one, it should change my this one to back to the original thing. Okay, so one moment, not this one, just give me, yeah, that is the one, correct. So let me clear it all, and then I'm just refreshing the site. Okay, now if you see, it became my production good website. So this is how your restored snapshot, you can see that it is working fine. Yeah, so we have seen multi-AZ concept, failover concept, and snapshot backing up and restoring the snapshot. So these four things are really important. Just make use of it. But there are a lot of advanced options also, but if you understand this basic concepts, it's so easy to understand the advanced one. And okay, that's all. But for my next videos, I'm gonna use couple of things here. For example, I need to have in the snapshots. I already have one snapshot called this one. I want the snapshot for my next video, which I'll be explaining about Aurora thing, Aurora provision, and Aurora serverless concepts. So I'm not gonna delete this one. I'm gonna keep this snapshot for my next couple of videos. Okay, but rest of the DB, for example, databases, I'm gonna delete these two things. Okay, which I created right now. I'm gonna delete this one. Create file snapshot. This is delete me. Then I acknowledge it and then click on delete. So that is done. So these things will get deleted when I'm deleting the CloudFormation stack. So this one I'm gonna delete this, delete stack. This one I'm gonna delete this. Okay, so okay guys, so I'll see you in the next video about how to migrate a snapshot which we saved right now to a Aurora instance, and then Aurora provision instance. Then also I will talk about how to migrate to Aurora serverless as well. I think once that is done, we will have a good grip on RDS concepts. Yeah.